From funny moments to crazy conspiracy theories, these are the most viral moments from the Joe Rogan podcast.
It airs on History Channel, and we just had our third season that just finished airing.
What's the thought process behind this? Is it legit? Because a lot of people are like, finding Hitler, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
They found Hitler, he died.
Yeah, I mean,
Not really?
we don't know.
Right.
That's I mean, this isn't like Ancient Aliens. This is they declassified a bunch of documents. Both the Israelis, the British, and the Germans and Americans in the past 20 years have been consistently declassifying documents. And there were a bunch of specifically FBI documents that we were spending millions and millions of dollars actively searching for Hitler after the war.
Really?
Yeah, like millions of dollars. Like Hoover was like, no, send more FBI agents to South America, to North Africa, go to the Canary Islands, go to Spain, trying to find out where this guy went. Tons of real FBI documents with real leads, with real informants, some first eye accounts saying that they physically. So anyways, that's the show, is us trying to find out, sift through reality and the fiction of the allure, the mystery of that asshole.
So what's the official story? The official story is that he killed himself, right?
Yep.
He killed himself in the bunker with Ava Braun.
Yep.
And is there any photographic evidence of his death or anything?
Yeah. So what the Russians got the body, and they got his skull. And when they brought it back to Moscow, nobody has ever been able to independently verify who and what this body is. They let one genetic test occur, and the body with the bullet holes that they said was Hitler, and have said, and that's the narrative, that's the story, that's all the eyewitness accounts that are even in the vicinity of collaborating with each other, and corroborating each other's testimony. Like the closest version, because none of it seems to be very accurate, is that, okay, here's Hitler's skull, and when they did the genetic testing, it's that of a 35-year-old woman. So they're like, oh, well, this isn't Hitler, but they've said for the past 80 years that this is Hitler. So, okay, first, before we start throwing stones at Russia, let's go back to 1945, April, in Berlin. You have the Allies coming in, wrecking shop, dropping bombs, blowing everything up they can in every single which way. You have the Russians coming in from the opposite direction. They don't even have enough guns to arm all their soldiers. So if they have 200 guys, or 200,000 guys, they have 100,000 guns. If the guy in front of you dies, you just pick up his gun. That's what's happening in April of 1945 in Berlin. So the noose is tightening. There is it is chaos, anarchy, pandemonium. This is hell on earth, is Berlin, 1945. So I don't know if you could get a real story, the way that we do it now, where we have, this forensic experts that come in and document everything, and we look at all the different testimonies, say this is exactly how, it's not CSI. This is 1945 Berlin. It's crazy. So I don't know.
So there was no absolute proof.
No.
And a lot of Nazis did escape and go to South America.
The majority of anyone with power. The Nuremberg trials were not a witch hunt, but it was to close a chapter so we could start moving forward with communism. That's what it was. The threat of fascism, the threat of Hitler, the threat of killing all the Jews, the threat of world domination by the Nazis, that threat's gone. What's the next threat?
Communism.
It's communism.
Right.
So that had to be a closed chapter of our history, so we could focus our resources and our efforts to what inevitably was going to, the wall goes up. We have East and West Berlin. We're already looking at Korea. This happens almost overnight.
Right, very quickly.
When Patton's like, no, homies, we need to go all the way to Moscow. This is not the end of our war, and we didn't listen to him. We then have been, fighting communism.
Over there, they don't politic like we do in California, right? So this is my first understanding of how this system works, right? So I go in there, and the only thing that you can't do in that system is you can't eat at the same table with a different race. Besides that, once you're up from the dinner table, I can trade with any race. I could do whatever, talk to them, chop it up.
But
whatever.
You have to eat with people of your own race?
Only? Yeah.
Wow.
Only. So then...
and they tell you this? So somebody informs you?
Oh, yeah.
I got informed when I went in.
So when I moved from Atlanta to California politics much different. you can't trade with blacks. You can't trade with others. You can't trade with. So you can only trade with your race, and then the whites get along with the SA. So what ended up happening is like, so you have others, which are any other race besides Mexican, white, or black. And this is a car. It's called a car, right? So everybody has a car, their own race. So you have Woods, you have Skinheads, you have Paisas, you got Mexicans, you got Crips, Bloods, and others.
And the Paisas roll with the Mexicans, the Skinheads roll with the Woods.
Yeah. And if something really pops off, some race
click
shit,
up.
then Mexicans and the whites will click up against the blacks, or the blacks.
It's
and the
always
others
all them
click up
against us. It always sucked to be. It sucked to be black in them times. I'm telling you, real shit. But we thump though. We thump. So we always knock them out
so
anyway.
You start trying to figure out this shit, you know, like you get thrown into that fire and you're trying to figure out all these unwritten rules. You know, there's no rule book, a law book come in and say, hey, do this.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
so a guy could really direct you in the wrong way if he wants to. You know what I mean? Like tell you some sideways shit, and next thing you know, you're in a wreck. You know?
Ooh.
So I go in.
Set you up.
So I go in. This was actually my second experience, not my first experience in there, but my second experience. I go in. They put me into a psych ward, a psych watch, getting extradited from Atlanta to here. And so I go into this area, and I don't know anything, you know, and this black guy in the psych ward is like yelling in this module, you know, like, anybody want to learn how to play chess? Anybody want to learn how to play chess? You know? And I was like, hell yeah, I want to learn how to play chess, right? So I walk over, I sit down with this fool, and he starts showing me how to play chess. But it's a black guy at a black guy table, and I'm a white guy. So now I just sat down at this black guy table, and all the Woods and all the Skinheads in there are like now against me. You know?
Oh no.
But I didn't know. Like,
Oh no, you had no idea.
I had no idea.
Oh no.
Right? So now
No.
Yeah, so now my cell pops, and I go to walk to the shower, and I walk past the other cell that pops, which is another skinhead in that room, and I go walk past his cell, smack, right? So now we're fighting,
Wow.
you know? So clean this kid up. Now they move me to another module. So now this kid put a kite out, like, oh, we got to get this guy, because da-da-da-da-da. So,
Oh, fun.
yeah. So I'm moving this other module. At the time, the institution had a lot of skinheads in there, and the skinheads will politic hard. Like, if they have numbers, then they'll push the politics, you know? And I looked like a skinhead when I went in. I had no hair, you know, like a just bald guy going in there, you know what I mean?
Right.
So they all start treating me like I'm one of them, but I'm not a fucking skinhead. So this guy come over and he's trying to get me to hide this little shank in my cell. Well, that's weapons manufacturing, carries 2 more years.
Oh my God.
That's how people start getting hit. You
So-
start catching more cases. When you're only supposed to do 2, now you're doing 10. It just stacks up, but go ahead.
And then there's intimidation factor, right? So this guy got a big ass swastika tattooed on his face right here, teardrops,
Jesus.
lightning bolts everywhere, you know what I mean? Like this, he's lifer, you know?
Right.
So big shit goes down. I end up choking this guy unconscious,
Oh Jesus Christ.
drag him out of my cell because he's trying to get me to hold this shank
Yeah.
in my cell. I can't, not doing this, bro. And you come in my cell, it's on.
Right.
So now we fighting, take this guy out, right? Just choke him out, beat him up, drag him out, hit him with some elbows. Now he's leaking. Drag his ass out into the little modular.
So do they know you can fight before you're in
They
here?
don't know.
No.
They have to
No.
How long before they figure it out?
Well, it took
word
a
start
minute.
traveling.
It took
Word
a minute
travel.
because most of the fighting goes on in the cell or in a shower. You know what I mean? So when the fight actually broke out in the open, when I was fighting multiple people, is what happened. And then all the fucking guards watched. Everybody's watching from their cells. You know, like this is a different time. So this whole incident takes place. I beat this guy up, take him out of my cell. Right now, they take him away. They move this guy out of the modular.
Do they get mad at you?
No, they just come in. You know, they don't really care. The guards don't give
Really?
a shit. They don't give a shit.
So you fucked that dude up. Is he out cold? Or does he have a? Do
I
they have
choked
to
him
ask him?
unconscious.
Do they have to ask him what his story is?
I don't give a fuck.
But they don't ask you. They just let you go. It's okay.
No,
What
they-
like is
they
there a
can't-
punishment? That's what I'm getting at.
They locked me in my cell. I couldn't get out of my cell for like 2 weeks.
Oh, for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just
So,
alone in yourself, constant.
yeah,
Nothing.
They
nothing
won't
but
pop
yourself.
the door. So what happens
Really?
is for a certain amount of hours of the day, they got to pop the door and let you into a bigger cell, a bigger
Right.
room. You know what I mean? So I just couldn't get into the day room for like 2 weeks. But the crazy shit of it all is, like I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to learn this system, right? This new rules. So what happens is this guy, okay, we talk about the cars and the races, right? So each race has their own car, which means there's a key holder. And the key holder to that car controls the race. So they make decisions for the race. They kind of keep other races out of car wrecks. Like now we got a feud with the blacks, or we got a feud with the Mexicans, or whatever.
They call them car wrecks.
Yeah, well, if we get in a fight with them, the key holder is the guy that can communicate with the other key holders to the races and try and
They don't
keep
go
peace.
and delegate it.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I didn't have it happen where we finna get it down with the Mexicans, and then our keys will go and they keys, and we finna jump. We get ready to jump, and they shake hands. All right, it ain't going, and then it go back down.
So yeah, and you're trying to figure all this out. So what happened was I beat this fool's ass, and now I got the keys.
Oh wow!
But I can't have the keys because I'm a first termer. So first termer's not allowed to have the keys. But nobody wanted to try to take the keys from me. So in order for them to take the keys from me, they got to fight me to take the keys away from me.
Oh boy!
So that kind of changed the dynamics of the room, because now I'm able to navigate with these other races and have these conversations with these fucking ignorant people that don't understand how to really
talk.
You know what I mean? Like how to communicate and keep things cool. They misunderstand what this guy says or misinterpret what this guy says, and next thing you know, it's hot for everybody. You know,
and it's just misinterpretations.
Yeah, because they're dumb. Most of these guys are dumb, bro. Like they're. Like the conversation, it made me. In some ways, you're sitting there listening to these guys. You're like, these guys really think this shit. Like they
fight about the dumbest shit.
You know why?
How's that possible?
Well, because look, if okay, that's great. That's a great example. Let's say your energy levels.
We're talking about fit people, by the way, right?
Every human being.
So guys never worked out before.
Even first day, never trained.
How is it possible to work out and not be sore?
No problem. Beautiful.
Okay, here we go.
So, let's say there's something called rate of perceived exertion. Okay, so. Let's say I make you do pull-ups, and let's say the maximum amount of pull-ups you can do. The maximum amount of pull-ups is 10. Let's keep a nice round number. At 11, you couldn't do 11. If I pointed a gun at you, you couldn't do 11. Should I make you do 10 pull-ups on our workout? No. I'm going to make you do 5. Why? Because I'm setting you up to work the next day. The next day we're going to do 5. And the next day we're going to do another 5. And then we're going to do 6. When 6 is really easy, we're going to do 7. Why? If you count, if you did 10 pull-ups on Monday, you're going to be sore till Thursday. Let's say it's really your max. So Thursday, you've only done 10 pull-ups. From Monday to Thursday, you've only done 10 pull-ups. Me, I've been doing 5 pull-ups every day. So I'm at 20 pull-ups already, 25 pull-ups. I have more volume than you. Now, if you add up at the end of the year, who trained more? I've trained way more than you. So let's say I go to jiu-jitsu practice. I'm doing jiu-jitsu every single day, 3 rounds, 5 days a week. That's 15 rounds. You go in twice a week, but you kill yourself. You do 5 rounds each day. You push yourself those last 2 rounds and you burn yourself out. I still did 15. You're at 10. At the end of the year, I've done countless rounds more. I've had so much more training than you. So how much training can we pack in the week? That's the real question. How much volume can you expose your athlete to? So I always tell people, look, exercise can produce energy. So let's say I'm feeling like a 7 out of 10. 10 being I'm really like energized. 1, I was like really lethargic, feeling like I need to lay down. And 7, I'm feeling good. Okay. If I get up and I do a right amount of exercise, the right amount, I can feel like an 8.5. Exercise can give me a tonic effect, like drinking this coffee. So let's say I just do some jumping jacks. I hit the back for a couple of rounds. I'm feeling good. Once you get that high, shut it down. Don't go into the phase where your body's beat up, tight, broken up. Don't redline the body. That's only for training camps. For a small period of time. Why? Because you get a little bit more from the system. But in the long run, you get less. In the long run, you've taxed the system. So if you do that regularly, by the time you actually get good, you'll be broken up. That's why I do a lot of flow training. Have you ever heard of Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's flow?
No.
Okay, so Jamie, can you look up a flow chart? It'll be so much simpler. Like just put in flow in the workplace or flow chart. This is pure genius. This guy is pure genius. Basically, he went and he coined the term flow. So like when you're in a state of flow, we've all been in a state of flow. The number one way to know that you're in a state of flow is time flies by. I'm sure sometimes you've done podcasts and you're like, whoa, is it 3 hours already? Yeah. It was a great podcast. You know, the one where you have the worst guest or you're having the worst workout, it feels like every minute is an hour. That's a bad, you're not in a state of flow. A state of flow is you're having the right amount of difficulty, but it's not so difficult that you go into stress, and it's not so easy that you're bored. It's the right amount of challenge. So let's say as simple as playing like Tetris. If I put you on a level that's too high, you're gonna play for 5 minutes, you're gonna be like, I'm done. If I put you on a level too easy, you're gonna be like, this is boring. If I put you at the right amount of level, you see that's the flow channel. So if the challenge is too high, you'll meet anxiety. If it's too low, you're boredom. When I go in the practice room, I'm trying to create flow. I'm having fun. Training should be addictive. Imagine training was addictive. Everybody would train, everybody would be fit. But people always go into anxiety. They go and they slam their body. Then I have to convince you to do it again 3 days later, 2 days later. And you're like, dude, the mental energy is going to take me to get there. Like, it shouldn't be. Training should be a pulling force. It should be pulling you. You want to go training. If you don't want to go training, it's not fun. If it's not fun, you're not going to do a lot of it. And if you're not going to do a lot of it, you're never going to reach mastery.
So how do I make it pleasurable? How to make it fun? I have to be in a flow state. And you can get into a flow state in almost anything. But when you're out of that flow state, cut it. We're going to get further. We're going to do more training if we cut it today and come back in tomorrow. Because I'm a big believer in consistency over intensity. Intensity should be done once in a while. Because by nature, intensity can only be done once in a while. If you're going hard every day, you're not really going hard every day. You can't go your max every day. There's a cost to going to your max. Can you sprint every single day? You cannot sprint every single day. It's ludicrous. You could sprint once or twice a week. The best sprinters in the world, they sprint once or twice a week. Nobody sprints every day because intensity by nature entails that you need to take a break. Because if you don't need to take a break, you didn't really go to your maximum intensity. If you lift your maximum lift, the maximum amount of reps you can, the maximum weight you can lift. If you do 2 reps, that wasn't your max. Because if it was, you wouldn't have a second rep in you. You understand? Right. I would have to give you a break for you to have a second rep. So we didn't find your true max, right? Intensity, maximum effort entails you have to stop because it's the maximum. There was no more reserves. There are no more reserves.
So what do you think about people that say there's no such thing as overtraining?
Here's the John Denahart narrative, and he coins it really, really well. He says, look, it's under rest. So he says, look, you couldn't overtrain if you didn't give your body the rest later.
Yeah.
But he says, look, no matter how hard I push and practice, if I didn't kill myself, I can rest from it and recover and have super compensation. I agree with that.
Some guys have made great strides with just mental fortitude and mental strength, overtraining the shit out of themselves.
Okay, but can I ask you this?
Yes.
They were successful, yeah?
Yeah,
okay.
But their bodies break down.
Right. But could they have been better if
Possibly.
they used flow? Exactly.
Right.
As
But
good as they
guys
were.
like Dan Gable, for example.
Right.
Like what Dan Gable essentially was done in his 20s, right? In terms of like his body's broken down.
Exactly.
Knee replacements, hip replacements, that kind of deal.
Let me ask you this. Who wins more often, Russians or American wrestlers?
Russians.
Every time an American wrestler wins, he's like some prodigy.
Mm-hmm.
He's rare. It's rare. It does happen, but it's rarely he's a technical master.
Right.
However, you have these Russian guys that win gold medals. You've never heard of them, and they're like Michael Jordans of the sport.
Yeah.
There's just so many of them. They train long, consistent practices. Whereas in America, we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday hard. We kill it. And then you rest Tuesday, Thursday. The Eastern Bloc had a totally different understanding. They're like, it's volume, volume, volume. Near the fight, short and intense. Only near the competition phase. But before that, it's the maximum amount of volume you can. Imagine me and you we're 2 athletes, A and B. You're A, I'm B. You're training jiu-jitsu 3 times a week really, really hard. You're going all out. I'm training jiu-jitsu every single day. My average practice is 2 hours. Your average practice is 2 hours. But when you go in, you kill it. Like you go with all the black belts and you kill it. At the end of the year, I'm averaging 3 practices or 2 practices more than you. So I've had 100 practices more than you by the end of the year. 104 practices. Let's give 2 weeks for vacation. 100 practices more than you. 200 hours more than you have been training. When we roll, your intensity that you put on the mat is going to be irrelevant. Why? Because I've also tasted that intensity periodically. It's not that much of a factor now. When you go super aggressive on me, when you attack me aggressively, I have felt that. I know how to deal with it. Plus, I have an extra 100 hours on you. 200 hours. So I'm going to mangle you. You know what I'm saying? The volume is far more important than the intensity. The intensity by nature is need to be done periodically. If you do it every day.
He now runs a dance studio in Ohio, the Savelli Dance and Martial Arts Studio.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so we tracked him down. I said to him on the phone, so do you still ever like kill goats just by staring at them? And he went, well, as a matter of fact, just last week I killed my hamster just by staring at it.
Hamsters live to be like 3 days old.
He said he caught it on video, and I said, well, can we come and watch the video? So we went. He said, okay. So we flew to Ohio to meet Guy Savelli. So the hamster's like running around in its wheel, and like Guy's off camera, like staring at the hamster. And then finally the hamster gets off the wheel, and it's like all the sawdust. And then the hamster like drops, like stops moving, drops down and stops moving amid the sawdust. So I'm like, whoa. And then the hamster gets up again, and the video ends. So I was like, that's not dead. Like, and a guy said,
You flew all the way to Ohio to see a video of a hamster.
yeah. So a guy said, yeah, my wife told me like not to. My wife said, don't show them the part where the hamster dies. So
What?
yeah, in case I was like a
What?
bleeding heart liberal, and I was
What?
like, yeah.
His wife told him to not show you the video that you flew all the way the fuck to Ohio to see?
Well, I think it's possible that the hamster just doesn't die.
No way, bro.
But it's true. But Guy showed me like a whole bunch.
Is that him?
Yeah, that's Guy
Go
Savelli.
full screen, please.
You need to put a Guy Savelli in mind. Hey, what happens when you've got a guest who's on for 3 hours and they want to use the bathroom?
Just go ahead and use
midway?
the bathroom. Good.
Can you cover for me?
Yeah. We'll turn the volume on here.
Okay.
Oh, he's doing some fake martial arts too.
There's
this
Guy
is
Savelli.
hilarious.
Somewhere on there, there's like.
Oh, you don't understand. This is my favorite stuff, John Ronson. Look at this. This is my favorite stuff. It's all like pokes.
Triangle of Death.
Oh, it's called the Triangle of Death.
Yeah. I didn't find the.
Oh, go back to that. I need to watch that again. This is hilarious.
Muscle right here. Behind there's a carotid artery.
Ooh, the
And
artery.
here is the
Esophagus.
airway.
Yeah.
Now there's the ABC approach of helping a person or hurting a person.
Mm.
They need a clear airway.
Mm.
They need to be able to breathe.
Mm.
And they need to have circulation of blood through their body.
Pause that for a second. What's one thing about bullshit artists is they always like use these real technical terms, like especially martial arts bullshit artists. They always talk about like medical terms that they're like disrupting the nerve, the vagus nerve that goes to the brain, and this is your C6, C7, your cervical disc, and I'm gonna attack the cervical disc through the carotid artery. They're all like, it's almost like they learn all these technical terms to sort of make their horseshit look more palatable. Good.
In order to live. In the poison hand technique,
Poison hands.
although I'm not showing you how to strike to penetrate the skin, of which we have a way to do that. What? I'm going to show you the motion that we use.
Please
to get
don't
through
show
there.
anybody, sir. With your flabby
Now,
grandma
just watch a
arms.
second.
He's gonna watch. He's gonna show you. Oh boy.
How's he alive?
It's just the end part is my favorite, where he does like the fucking karate stance behind the guy's back.
Is that your tap?
And look at the end part, the little limp hand to the back. Oh, that guy's wonderful. I don't know why, man. I don't know why, but this stuff gives me so much pleasure. I enjoy fake martial arts videos more than almost anything. Almost as much as Hold This Beer, the Twitter account that every 2 days I have to retweet one because I find a good new one. I don't know why. Oh, he's got new stuff. Oh, what's he gonna do?
Mind development.
Oh, mind development.
And striking techniques.
Let me see this. Let me see this. The guy's coming close. He's touching him. He's about to touch him.
What the fuck?
What the fuck was that? The guy's about to touch him.
Chun Kun Tao means that you can do whatever has to be done to protect, not hurt.
You gonna hear this?
Is that the mask?
towards
Is that the
that
death touch?
No, he's got this. Hold on, play that back. Play that back. Development of the mind.
So you know the shit better than me, right?
Oh, yeah, I
this is-
certainly do.
This is your bread and butter.
This is, well,
Pak Chun Kun Tao
this is
means
something
that
I've been
you can
doing
do
more than
whatever
I've been
has
doing
to be
anything in my whole life.
not hurt. This is the first real exercise towards that goal.
You gotta see this. It's so fucking stupid.
So he's the goat.
gonna-
He's the goat star from the Minister Goat.
Oh, he's just gonna punch a watermelon.
Right.
Oh, you're crazy, bro.
Solid watermelon.
Oh, it's solid? Oh, no way. That's impenetrable. That's basically a brick wall.
His fingers.
He's gonna use his fingers. 1, 2. Oh, I broke his hand, son.
Great.
You broke your hand, kid.
He's the first guy who told me about the dim mak, the death touch.
He went right through that watermelon, bro. I would let that guy do that to me. I'd be like, okay, fuck the watermelon, dude. Let me tighten up my
Oh
stomach.
yeah, I've
Oh, what's
seen
gonna
these.
do?
I've seen this stuff. This is guy doing military stuff, right? This is deep.
Well,
this is Minister
it's not
Goat
really
stuff right here.
military, but he's wearing a military outfit.
Oh, really? I do know that guy like went to Fort Bragg and did the goat stuff. Like he showed me documentation.
See this right here? Listen, man, I used to do this. Look at that, so stupid. That guy, he picked his leg up when he's doing it. Oh, this is hilarious. This guy's gonna do it with his fingertips. Hi-ya!